Hello, my name is Chris. I'm 31 years old at the moment we do this video. Many people asking me, what are you doing at the moment? What did you do before? And what is your story? Why are you how you are, who you are? And today I want to talk a little bit about it because the most people think you have to have a good base or a big network when you start your business or whatever, but that's not true. So my story is not very special. It's not, I didn't have royal parents or whatever. So I started a normal life in a normal little village in Bavaria. And one of the first things they really changed me a little bit for maybe the rest of my life is that a lot of people are staying in one place and they are so afraid of changes. So they are so afraid to do something new. And for me, it was normal because my dad was in sales and we switched a lot of times. So every time we switched, I lost all my friends. So think about you're 6 years old, you lost all your friends. Then you build a new friend base, you have a lot of new friends, you go on the playground, everything. 4 years later, boom, everybody's away. So that was the first thing what really changed me, I think, that I'm really open to meet new people, to build a new network, because it was normal in my life. So think about you're 6 years old and all your friends are gone from one day to another. So, and this was not the only problem. The second problem was that in Germany you have many different kinds of dialects, so you can talk like this or this, you know it, like in your country. And my parents are from Berlin. I'm born in Bavaria, so I was like a guy who was never on the right place. So if I'm in Berlin, people say, hey, you're not from Berlin. If I'm in Bavaria, people say, hey, you don't sound like a Bavarian. So it was always like I'm the guy who is not on the right place. So it was always a feeling for me to, okay, I have to prove that I'm good in something like sports or whatever to get attention from people, that I'm not the outlaw, okay? And I think that was one of the main reasons why I can change so fast, why I can build big networks in a short time. So I always joke around and say, bring me alone to a forest and I will build a new network there. And that was the first steps I learned was in my childhood, because I have to. If I didn't do it, I would be alone. So that's the first tip for you. So if you are so afraid of changing something, or every time something new comes to your life and you say, oh my God, can I do it? Book a flight today. Now. Go to an app and book a flight to wherever you want. The first thing in your mind, Miami. Go to Miami. Do it now. Because you have to teach yourself to do it. If you don't do it, it will never change, and you are afraid and afraid and afraid and afraid and afraid and afraid. And this is a thing I learned from when I was a little kid. And if I look back, it was hard at this time, of course. I was very sad, I was alone. People laughing about me because they say, you talk different, where are you from, blah, blah, blah. But if I look back now, it made me very strong. It made so much things I teach people now. Make cold contacts on the street. If I wouldn't do it, I wouldn't have friends. So it was normal for me. I was new in the football club. They played together 6 years, I was new. I was the fastest, so the other guy who was fast hated me. He was the best in the club, so it was a very good start for me. So it was normal in my life to go somewhere and make something new, and I think this is one of the biggest things you have to learn. If you can't change, you will lose all the time, because the times are so fast. So for example, people, they're 10 years before they're 50, I don't need the internet, or 20 years before, I don't need internet. Of course they use it now. And it's so hard for them because they always say, I don't want to change, and oh my God, changes are normal. If you want to go to another level, you have to change. Okay, so that was one of the main things I think that make me different. But of course, it's not the only one. There's the ruler in Dubai, because normally I live in Dubai. At the moment we're in Germany, where I'm from, but no, I live in Dubai normally, and in Dubai there's a ruler, and he made a little quote. He said, hard times making weak leaders, and weak leaders making hard times, and hard times making good leaders, and good leaders making good times. So, and that's the same. So if everything in your life is always smooth and easy and you can go through, then you can't grow. So you have to find a place where you can grow, and growing is always outside of the comfort zone, you know, because that's the reason why it's a comfort zone. Everything feels good and stuff like that. So if I look back to my life, it was very often I was the smallest, I was a guy with another language, another dialect, I was not the guy who loved school. Oh my God, I hated school. For me it was really, and I know it's hard to say it, only really useless. I didn't get the system at all. So I was lucky because it was kind of easy for me to understand everything, but the system at all, I don't get it. For me, it was like, I have to learn something, and if I ask my teacher if he need it today, he say no. So it was always hard for me to do something I don't understand. So my whole life I had problems because I started something, then I don't like how they do it, and then I crushed together with them and I quit it. So the first years, not only the first years, until I'm 24, I always quit it, everything. I started to play guitar, boring, I quit it. I started judo, boring, I quit it. I started going to high school in Germany, and I said, it's so hard, I quit it. So every time it was normal, I trained myself to quit. And this was the reason why I didn't have money. I was completely broke because it was normal for me to quit. So if you look back to your story, did you train yourself to quit or to bring it to the end? That's one of the main reasons why people fail. They start and then the first problem comes and say, oh my God, it's so hard. Maybe I find something else. Okay, so I talk so often with people. I think in the last 5 years since I do my online business, I had at least 10,000 people I talked with, at least. And so many people say, I think that's nothing for me. Yeah, but your life is nothing for you too. That's the reason why you talk with me. So the big problem is that people are always afraid of changes, and it's if you have a comfort zone, even if the comfort zone is bullshit, you feel like, I'm safe. Oh my God, I'm safe, okay? And you have to change it. You have to change. This was the main reason why I was broke, because I always run away if it was hard, every time. Next step, no, I will do something else. The boss is an idiot, I quit. Okay? In this company, they said something 4 weeks before I don't like, maybe I should quit. So, when and how did I change it? Because I saw myself quitting every time, quitting, and I had 3 jobs and was broke. So the main reason why I quit it was I sit down, I thought about my life and said, okay, that's not what I want. What do I do all the day? And that's what people doing. People waking up in the morning, they have a big opportunity of, let's say, colors to make it easy. So you have red, blue, green, okay, whatever, every color you want to have, and you wake up in the morning, you look into the opportunities you have and you take red, yellow, bring it together, it's orange, and you say, I hate orange, orange sucks. You go to bed, you wake up every morning and you say, I have every color, I take red and yellow, put it together, orange sucks. And that's what I did for almost all my life. I did every time the same, I get the same result, I had 3 jobs and I was fucked up. And I think the reason why I run away is because every time when my parents changed something in their lives, they changed their location. So you see, it was a good thing for me to learn working with changes and build networks. But on the other side, I learned, okay, there is something you can change, run away. Let's go something else. Try something new. And my parents were always working. So it was not for me, we didn't have much money. My dad made a lot of money in the past, but when they divorced, we were broke. Okay? And I think that's another thing that made me very, very strong in one kind, because when my dad and my mother were together, my dad made in his best months around about $20,000. It would be $40,000 today, and he was alone. He was in sales, he was very good. So I learned a lot of stuff in sales from my dad, and I had everything. I said, okay, I want to wear Nike, no problem. I want to have the new David Beckham collection for football, no problem. And then there was a divorce, okay? And my room, I will never forget, I was 11 years old. I went there again, 150 kilometers away. I lost all my friends. I went there with my mom, and she showed me my room. And I really, 100% was sure it was a joke. I said, Mom, come on. We will not live here. That's for dogs. And she said, Chris, our life will change now. And I said, no. Where is our real house? Because we had a house, a half of a house before. My room was so big. I had a double bed, a carpet, 2 seats, a table, this little train, this play train. I had 2 birds. I had a keyboard. I had a big place to play. So it was so huge. I think it was 30 square meter only my room, 25 to 30 square meter, and then our whole apartment was 65. So I really thought, I was 100% sure my mom is kidding. I said, Mom, come on, let's go to our real house. And then I realized, fuck, That's our real house. That's our real apartment now. And this was something I really think helped me a lot to go back to make money, because I knew how it was and I knew how it is without. So you know the Wolf of Wall Street, the movie where he says, I know how it is with money and I know how it is without. Same for me. So when I was a kid, my dad said, okay. He was not there. To be honest, I thought my dad is like a special agent, like James Bond, okay, because he was always in suits, had a lot of money and was never at home, new fancy cars, but he was never at home. So for me it was like he has to be an agent, so he has to be a secret service agent or whatever. But after I learned the difference between, okay, you have money, you can do whatever you want, and you don't have money, that was a very, very hard cut in my life, because it was normal for me. Okay, everybody else has a phone, I have a new one. Everybody else said, hey, David Beckham have a new collection because I was playing football. Yeah, I can get it. And then from one day to another, it was like, boom, money away. And it was like, my mom said, I never heard this before, we can't afford it. I said, what? I need it. No, you don't need it. We can't. Before it was, you don't get it. I didn't get anything, everything, okay? But it was not, we can't. It was, okay, you don't get it because you have enough or whatever. But then it was, no, we can't. I said, okay, everything changed. I have to walk to school. Before, my dad came every morning, made me breakfast and drove me to school, and then I have to walk a hill up, and I said, oh my god, my life, everything goes down. And it was really a hard phase for me, and then everything inside me changed. I got very aggressive. Everything was fucked up for me. I started hanging out, because my mother had to go to work, of course. I started hanging out with friends. I still have them today, they're very good friends. We all made a good way. I'm very lucky, very blessed. But it was like, I look back and now, and I think, if you see in the TV show, those people, they are so young generations, they are aggressive, they run around and you say, oh, what's going on in their life? It was the same for me. So nobody was at home, I was alone, nobody was my friend. I was 150 kilometers away. I have to walk to school 20-30 minutes, even when it was cold. For me, it was a complete, like, I put everything away from your life. At the same time, in the 2 weeks before I started school, not 2 weeks, 1 week before I started to school, my grandmother died. And that was like my mom. Okay, so my parents worked a lot, and my grandmother, she was the person who I can ride bicycle because of her, for example. Okay, so every day she made whatever I want to eat. Every day I had chocolate, so I had like my perfect comfort zone. And that's the reason why it's for me, like, there is no comfort zone. I want to do it, I do it. Okay, because in my life it was so often my comfort zone was like from one day to another, done, away. So you have a grandmother, she do everything for you. You do bicycle with her every day. What do you want to eat? No problem. Your dad bring you to school. You have everything you want, clothes, everything, and then within 8 weeks, room away. It was not a room in my opinion anymore. Grandmother away, chocolate away, friends away, school. I have to walk 20 to 30 minutes, a fucking hill up. So it was like comfort zone done, boom. So I lost so often the comfort zone in my life that it's for me now easier to teach other people to get out of their comfort zone. And that's the reason why people are successful or not unsuccessful. Because what you have to do, to be honest, you know, that's the most people know what you have to do. You know, if we took all billionaires we know, all billionaires, show me one employee. One. Only one employee. 0 employees. So we all know, if you want to be on the top, to be an employee, don't work. But what was my answer if I had problems? A second job. Okay, I need more money. Third job. And if you think 1 second about it, the top elite, nobody is an employee. So that's not the answer for the problem if you need money. So that's so easy to find out. You only Google. What do billionaires do? They are not taxi drivers or like me, a plumber or whatever. Because that was the thing I started to talk about. School, okay? I broke up school. I changed school every day, every year. I did this. And then I said when I was... so I didn't pass the class 4 times in my life. So if I only know one guy, and I know a lot of people, he didn't pass it 5 times. But everybody else says, really? Yeah, and it was not because I didn't understand or I'm too dumb. For me, the whole system sucked. For me, it was like, I never need this in my life. So it's a time waste. Of course, it was dumb because I wasted 4 years of my life. So very, very dumb. But a teacher of mine told me, Chris, if you don't pass the class, you will lose 60,000 euro. because this is what you could do. So it's $60,000 roundabout. This is what you could do in this year you lose after you finished your school. The big problem was $60,000. Even if I was broke, I was completely broke. When I started my businesses, I was 11,500 in debt. So I was broke. But for me, it was always clear I want to be a millionaire. So when he talked with me about this, so you lose $60,000, I thought, okay, when I make $60,000 per year, that's not my goal. So I think the whole problem in the whole system is, with the school system is, there are special people like you, they're looking content like this. They're not here to make $30,000 per year or 50. That's not your goal. So the school is here to help people. Their goal is to have a life where they have a job with 9 to 5. Have a relaxed life where you can pay your bills or not pay, or have a little stress and go one time per year or in a decade, or whenever you think you can go, or maybe not, to a holiday because my life is okay. Do you know these people? What's your car? It's okay. And your job? It's okay. And your apartment? It's okay. And your girlfriend? It's okay. That's not a life I want. That's not a life you want. And the reason why I didn't understand the school system and it wasn't make no sense for me was exactly this. What they did is they teach me how to live an okay life. I don't want an okay life. I love my life. I wake up in the morning and say, what the fuck I want to do today, I do it. If I want to go to Miami now, I can do it. Everything I want to do, I can do. And that was the life I wanted. When I was 5 years old, my grandfather from Berlin came and he said, Chris, what do you want to do when you are tall? And my mom said he wanted to be a firefighter. Because there was a little TV show with a little dragon and he was a firefighter and his name was Chrisu. And my name was Chris, so I want to be like him. And then I said, no, mom, I want to be a millionaire. But when I was 5 years old, no joke. And she said, what? Why? And I said, they are always smiling and they are always happy. Because there was a TV show in German with all the millionaires, not all, but the millionaires, they had white teeth, they were on yachts, they had big cars, and they were always happy. And I said, for me, I had one problem because I thought it's a normal job. So I thought you can be a plumber, taxi driver, engineer, or a millionaire. So I thought it's the same way, you go to school, you learn how to be a millionaire, and then you'll be a millionaire. But the problem is, the school system don't work like this. The school system help you to be not a millionaire. And in Germany, we have the highest income taxes around the world. So to be a millionaire here, it's very, very hard. Because 50% of your money goes away. So when I understood this, I said, oh my God, it will be hard. So I changed so often the job. Because every time I had the feeling, okay, with this way I can't do it, I run away. Because it was what I learned. So let's go another way. Let's try something different. Let's go 150 kilometers there or try something different. And when I was 24, I was in bodybuilding. I look completely different. Maybe you'll find an old picture of mine. I had a sponsorship in bodybuilding, and there was a competition, and it was one of the hardest things I ever did. So if you're in bodybuilding and you do a competition, believe me, if you put this effort in a random business, you will be a millionaire. It's really, to make $1 million was 10 times easier to do this, really. At the end of the day, it's exactly the same. That's the reason why so many pro sports athletes making so much money after their career. Because you have to do something and you have to repeat it as long as you need to reach the goal. And that's the same with business. What I do, I never met a millionaire. You can't copy what he is doing, never. The difference is he did it over years, again and again and again and again. And it's not the Instagram lifestyle. He was not again and again and again on a yacht for 8 hours per day. He worked 120 hours per week. That was what I did at the beginning, 120 hours per week. Don't do it. There are easier ways, but I didn't have a teacher. I was alone, so I have to learn it by myself. That's the reason why, if you ask me, ask a teacher, and then you can do it at 40 to 60 hours per week. It's the same what I did. But that was the reason why I was not perfect for the school system. I broke up the school, and then I said, okay, what can I do? My friends are in this company. It's called Wurm. Okay, Wurm means worm. Worm, okay, this little worm, this is his second name, his short name. Wurm, and this guy has make electric and plumber. Okay, so a plumber job, and I said, okay, I hate school. Okay, let's go to make a plumber. I did it 6 months, 5 months. And in this 5 months, 3 people died in this company. They weren't even 60 years old. Okay? One had cancer, one dropped down and stuff like that. I said, oh my God, are you fucking crazy? I will not do this for the rest of my life. For this money, that's crazy. So I quitted this job because this was what I learned. hard, go. It's outside of my comfort zone, go. Okay, so I quitted this job, went back to school, and then I was 4 years in school, only to break up the school again. I went out of the school and had nothing more. And that was then the first time in my life I had problems, not really problems, but it was the first time of my life I didn't get a job like this. Because normally I go there and I say I want to do this job, and if they say, yeah, we don't know, I say, and that's a next tip for you, I do a free practicum. I think it's in Practica in English. I hope it's the same word. So I work for you for free for 2-3 days and show what I can do. If you do it, normally nobody says no. So if you have not a good degree, if you don't have a degree, go to them and say, hey, I will work for you 1 week for free. If I'm good, give me the job. It works every time. Every time. So that's the reason why I get all my jobs. But then the first time of my life, people asked me for my degree and my CV and what I did, and it was really bad because I was in 5 or 6 different schools. I dropped 2 jobs. Then I dropped out of school 2 times without finished it. Okay, so that was the hard time of my life. So that's the reason why I had 3 jobs, because with 1 job I can't live, and that's what what was very crazy for me to understand, because the only thing I understood from successful people was working hard. You have to work hard. You have to work so hard. And I worked hard. 3 jobs at the same time. I worked from 6 a.m. until 11 p.m. every day. I was working in the gym, in Subway sandwiches, and I delivered Coca-Cola and stuff like that at this time before I sold insurance and stuff like that. But I was broke all the time. I had not the right mindset. I didn't understand that it makes no sense to be an employee. So if I have more time, I would have more jobs. But it didn't change my problems. Yeah. So whole life I lived was always a part of a game of trying this, then trying this, running away. Then my whole life changed. Boom. Okay. So think about your 10 best friends. Then the most important person in your family, and the place you live, the sport you do, your sports club, your friends, everything you know, and then from one day to another, everything away. But not only one time in your life. And this was the reason why my life was so crazy, and it took me so long to get the right mindset. Because I started with 26. Now the new generation, there are people I met a guy, he was 14, he made $10,000 per month with e-commerce and stuff like that 2 years before. With 14, I had completely different problems. So no matter where you are in life, the most important thing is look back and be honest to yourself. Are you at the right place? Are you where you want to be? How is your life? Is it good? Is it bad? Do you like what you do? Is it really the way it will work for you to be an employee in a job you hate? Is it really what you want to do? So that was when I changed everything. And from one day to another, I said, okay, I have to change something. And so I said, if I start something, I finish it. That was one of the main things. That was what I learned in bodybuilding. Okay, so in bodybuilding I learned you start something and it can be the dumbest shit ever. Okay, everybody can have a 6-pack. If you have 1 brain cell, you can have a 6-pack. You have to do that's it. Everybody can do it. Everybody, but it's outside of the comfort zone. And that's the problem. But if you do exactly the same in business, you find out what you have to do, you do it until you have what you want, it will work. 100%. So my whole life was 180 degree against this. Okay, so everything was broken, nothing was stable. I didn't have money, I was in debt because I had I started my first own business. We searched for jobs for people. I started my first own business, and the guy I worked with, he stole the money. So I came one morning into the company and bloop, card was away. I looked to the guy in the bank and he said, ask your friend. And he stole all the money from the bank. So I was broke. I had 11,500 debt because I put my last money and I got a loan to pay my employees. So I already understood at this time, to be an employee will not bring me near to my goal. But then somebody else destroyed again everything I did. Again, boom, from one day to another, company away. But I will talk about this next time, because I think that's the most important thing, how to change from have nothing, everything goes down, everything breaks again, no stability, to build your own stability and your own fundamental thing you need and the right mindset. So see you soon.